Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. So today I wanted to do one of these again. I haven't done it in a while where we've talked about like the after weight loss glow up. I don't know if I'll respond to this, I guess, after I read it, and then we'll look at some of the responses. I want to be on the lookout for some MSP action, which I think I have my wand here. I have it. I want to also get my own response, blah, 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 blah. You get it. We've been doing this for a while on this channel. So, for a reference, if anybody is new somehow, I've lost about 160, like between 160 and 170, I think. I don't even know anymore. I've lost a lot. It's like in that range, I think. I'm a flop. I was 383 at my highest, and at my lowest recorded, I was 207. And then I stopped weighing in. So, yeah, you can do the math, I guess. I'm done. I'm done doing math. I'm done. No, I'm just kidding. All I have left is the ability to count calories. That's all I've got. So let's go ahead and look at this. People treated differently after weight loss or glow up. People who've lost a lot of weight, how have you been treated since losing that weight? I'm currently in high school, and in this school year, I decided to change my style up. I've been told I dress like an old lady and have been called ugly by a few little kids. I've gotten a few of compliments from time to time, and I've noticed that strangers in my class treat me a little differently. I'm on a weight loss journey, and I'm wondering if your dating life, getting approached by admirers, or strangers acting nice has gotten better. I've been overweight and so lonely my entire life. I just really want to feel loved. I also want to improve my quality of life. Thank you. So this person she is 17. She is 5'8", starting at 240. Currently 235 and 140 is the goal. Okay, that's significant. That will be a significant difference for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what people said. Oh, I guess I should answer first. I don't know. I feel like with me, I look really busted a lot of the time, which I know that sounds weird. I do notice I'm looked at more, but I don't know if it's because I look good or if I look a mess. I don't really know. Nobody really says anything, which I don't mind because I'm very introverted at this time in general. And so I always am, but it's even more. Like, I think prior to now, I had like, there was like a bit of an era, like a year, where I was small fat. Like when I was small fat, my bra era, and then mid-sized princess, those two phases, I had like this low dopamine thing going on, and it made me like this faux extrovert. It was like I had like a fake extrovert era. And over the summer, I was kind of like hybridized, where it was a little bit in between. And then now I'm like full-blown introvert again, very much so. So I don't mind not being talked to. People are pleasant, but they mostly have been like the whole way down. A lot of people do notice that I've lost weight. Again, for those of you guys who don't know, I live in Derry, Alabama. That's what I call it. Derry from the Pennywise movies. But I live in Derry, Alabama, so it's small, so I'm known around these parts. And so people notice that I've lost weight. Some people have asked me how much I've lost and stuff like that. And so I do get comments on that in public. And that's always fine. Like, I don't mind it at all. But, yeah, like somebody asked, or they're like, oh, well, you get a lot of steps in and stuff because I walk around a lot. And I'm like, yeah, I do. So it's kind of funny. But anyways, that's kind of my vibe, I guess, with this. or my perspective is it's like there's been phases where I've been more invisible and then phases where I've been more visible. And I am looked at more now. And I do feel like there is, I don't know, like it's like when I'm at the grocery store, if somebody's in my way, they're really sure to get out of my way. You know what I'm saying? But that is so subtle. It's like such a subtle thing. And again, I don't know if it's like I just look a mess or I look better or maybe a combination of the two. It doesn't really matter to me because it sounds bad, but I like that people get out of my way. I'm just going to be real. I like it. Um, Other than that, um, I don't know. Like, I've been really locked in. I've been more on the introverted side, but I've obviously gone out and stuff. But I'm just mostly normal. I look very average, I think, like body size wise. So it's nothing crazy. But I think that's the whole point is that it's nothing crazy. It feels very human. It feels very typical, average living. It's just very like you fit in. I fit in everywhere. I don't feel out of place. And then if I'm like, if I look bad, it's typically not due to my weight anymore. It's like my hair is a mess, or like I look busted, or, maybe I have a weird look on my face or something. It's not really my weight that's causing the problem. So it's like there's a lot of shift from weight being a focus. It's like such a background thing in my life. I don't really think about it that much. And I think in general, like in the public, it's not really considered. So what is typically considered is like my mannerisms or how I'm acting or like my hair being a mess or things like that. It's like people look at that more than your weight because you're just seen as normal. So I think in average era, it's tricky because it's all on you. Everything is on you. You can't blame your size anymore. You can't say, "Oh, well, this happened because of that." Like, no. Or they saw me this way because of that. It's like, no. I've had confrontational moments quite a bit too, like a little bit. I've actually probably had more conflict being average, just tiny bit. So I've actually had people be a little bit more rude. Um, but again, I don't know if that's because I look busted a lot of the time. But I don't know if it's just looks. Like it could just be like people are weird and irritable right now, or it could be that I'm irritable. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really know. But it's not that often. I know that was kind of contradictory, but it's like, I guess what I could say all in all is it's like there's more attention in general, like in real life. I don't feel sequestered, or I don't feel like a lot of times when I was mid-size, I felt very sidelined, and I don't ever feel that way anymore. So I don't know if that's just an internal feeling or if it's something that doesn't happen anymore, which I honestly think it's something that doesn't happen. I think a lot of times when you're mid-size or bigger, people, they kind of have that attitude of like, you should know your place type of attitude. And my place is just with everybody else now. And that's the best way I could say it. It's very subtle. It's nothing crazy. Like I said, I think a lot of times fat people, they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. And everybody's going to look at me and everybody this and everybody's that. And it's like, no, I don't think so. Like that's maybe at a very specific thing. Like if you're totally snatched or something, or you just look really good, but it becomes more about looks. It's not as much about your weight. It's about how you look in general. And if you look busted, if your hair is messed up, if your style isn't on fleek, whatever, you're going to have the same issue at a certain point. Whereas like when you're really big, you'll still have a problem. Even if you have everything perfect, it's still a problem. But that's the best way I could describe it is I'm not really sidelined. I feel included all the time. And I know that that will probably sting people. And I know for a lot of people it does sting them. I don't really think about it that much because I understand that that's part of why people are bigger a lot of the time. There is an avoidance aspect. You know, a lot of people that are bigger are traumatized and they specifically want to be sidelined or they specifically want to be left out. So it's a difficult thing. I know a lot of people frame it as a victim thing, but again, I see weight as a choice. So it's like you're choosing it, you know? And that's basically how I see it. So I don't view it as a victim thing. I view it as somewhat intentional, even if it's subconsciously intentional. And so that is now gone. So I am involved. And I think that that's, for the most part, a good thing. I think it's healthier. I think people often are bigger to separate themselves from society or from others. And that's what I feel like, honestly. So I just feel very much a part of the crowd, very like average, I guess. And because of that, I'm not sidelined. Like I said, I can't say if it's just society or if it's me or if it's both. But I'm treated normally. That's the best way I could put it. So I know like a fat person will hear that and they'll know what I'm talking about. So that's who I'm speaking to. When you're thinking I'm not treated normally, I am now treated normally. So now you know what it is, you know. And people may not get that if you've never been big, if you've never been actually fat. I just got in a discussion with somebody where it was like this guy who is, again, a lot of people on Instagram, they're low-key reductive. Like, they're low-key on the reductive side of the toxic ritualistic. And they'll say, like, like this one guy, he was like, I'm so glad I was fat. And he wasn't. He was like a thickums. He looked average. And then people will say, well, I think he looks fat. And I'm like, no. Like, he just doesn't look good. And I think people need to understand, like, they're two separate things. Like, he looked average and he's kind of average in the face. So he just doesn't, or he's just average in general. So when his body was average, he couldn't carry it. So he looked bad. And it's like, that's what it is. And then, yeah. And then he looks better when he's more snatched and in shape and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but that's not fat. Like, he was never sidelined. You know? So I think that that's what I'm trying to explain. I think sideline is like one of the best ways to describe it. That is exactly what it is. And being thin or average, that doesn't happen anymore. It's done. So that's my answer. That's a very long answer. Again, I'm not like super snatched. I would consider my body extremely average. I think it's like even more average now. Like, I'm kind of getting into the middle of average at this moment. You know, maybe I'll have to let you guys know when I feel like I'm totally average, like 100,000% average. But I feel like it's gonna happen soon if I'm not there. As my vanity weight era comes to a close, as I'm climbing out of this deficit. Ooh, I didn't burpee for some reason. As I'm climbing out of this deficit for some reason. But that's my answer. Yeah. Long answer, but it's a real one. And I think if you're extroverted, you'll absolutely love it. If you're introverted, I think that you'll mostly like it, but it's a lot of work, a little bit. There's more like social work because you do genuinely get more attention. Or like I said, you're not sidelined. That's the best way I can put it. You're not sidelined. So you will have to deal with people more, and that's okay. That's a part of like being human. So you need to stop trying to act like you're not a human. Okay? All right, let's continue. Hi, OP I, 23-year-old female, lost weight for the first time when I was in high school, and the treatment I received from my peers significantly improved. Boys started considering me as a romantic prospect, double-edged sword, and people who expressed open disdain for me before were suddenly very interested in talking to me. Ooh, that's weird. People in general were just much nicer toward me than before. So I do wonder how much this person lost, because I feel like I felt like, there's such a sting in the mid-size era. Like, people are so ambivalent about you. And so I wonder sometimes if people's perspectives come from that specific era, that low level obesity, higher upper weight, that type of zone. I wonder if that's where like a lot of people have social problems or even like bad memories, or, things like that, because you trigger a lot of people's toxic ritualistic when they look at you at that size. So people treat you really weird and you're just very sidelined. Like, and people, I don't know, like when I was mid-size, I felt like I was constantly fighting with everybody. And some of that I think was me, but it was also like people were really like challenging me constantly. And that's very hard to deal with. Being average, that doesn't happen anymore. It's kind of like a collective, everybody just shuts the fuck up about it. Basically. Um, so take that with what you will. But I wonder if that's part of this. Like they had disdain and then now they're interested. I think that could be because they were ambivalent. And oftentimes when people are deeply, deeply ambivalent, I think it's because they do like you, but it's like they're not sure if they like you, so they're weird. So then you lose the weight and then they're like, oh, I really like you, you know? And that can definitely happen romantically, but I think it can also happen like even platonically. Because people, when I'm saying liking, I don't even just mean romantically. I just mean like you as a person. So it's weird. It's really weird. The mid era is not for the faint of heart. Receiving attention can be overwhelming at first. I dressed up for a get-together with friends last weekend, and the stares that I received when taking the train and walking to my destination had me feeling self-conscious and a little unnerved. I asked a friend about it later that evening, who confirmed that people were staring because I looked hot. Okay. All that to say that I wish you the best of luck with your weight loss. Take it at your own pace and don't get discouraged as it slows down. You're playing the long game here. Overall, I like this comment. I'll have to let you guys know when I get to more so like an above average zone. I'm really speaking it from an average zone. Thank you. I've been overweight my entire life, so being harassed is definitely a scary prospect. Thank you so much for the wishes. I'm very committed to this health journey. I totally understand the fear, OP, and it's important to recognize that the fear is there. The world can be a scary place as a young woman, and living under the weight of the resulting fear adds a great deal of stress to our lives, especially when we allow those fears to go unacknowledged. Like I said, I think there is definitely, in a lot of people, there's an avoidance. I see that in myself, so maybe I just see it more when I see other people doing it. But this is avoidant. It's a little bit avoidant. The world is scary out there, so just be fat. That's a toxic ritualistic thing. The truth is, it's a dark truth, but it's scary whether you're fat or not. It's still scary. It doesn't actually change. The world doesn't change. You do. So, but it is like a delusion that people have. But whatever. As an older sister myself, I wish I could assure you that bad things don't and won't happen, but they do. What I can tell you is that the world is a better place than we sometimes give it credit for. People can and will surprise us with their kindness and generosity. In summary, don't allow these fears to dictate your life and keep you from accomplishing your weight loss goals. I can tell you for certain that the things that we gain from reaching a healthy weight win out over fear. Love this comment completely. Very empathetic, very sweet. Very, very sweet. Very good person. Like, very, very good response. Loves it. Opal Moth. First, I'm so sorry you've had to deal with mean comments about your outfits and that you feel lonely. While 17 was a while ago for me, gosh, I'm 35. I hope when I say what I say can help. I was taller and heavier than most of the girls in my high school. I also wear my hair very pixie cut short when no one did that. It was peak long straight blonde hair era as the in look. I got picked on, called terrible names, and dealt with mean girls. So I don't know why I'm laughing, but I really believe her. I really do. Um, I just do. I believe it. Anyways, and dealt with mean girls on the regular, some of them my friends. I had a couple of kind friends who got me through the days, but I truly spent a lot of time alone. I also did not have any internet community, and sometimes I wish I had. I would have found my people a lot sooner. Yeah, I think I was laughing there because I remember like that era that she was talking about. And it's like, yeah, people were kind of. I always say, like, Gen Z could have never. They could never have handled. Like, millennials are so mean. Mean millennials, especially to our own. We're the most vicious to our own, which it's kind of funny. Like, I don't want to get too into this, but I've talked to Eric about it, and it's like my friend Eric, and it's so crazy how millennials were literally hated by everybody, like all the generations, but we hate ourselves the most. And I hope now, like as a collective, millennials can stop. But when we were young, it was really bad. And even now, I think it's probably still a little bit bad, but the bar was really low. So maybe it's better. Teehee. Maybe it's better in our 30s. Teehee. Anyways, let's continue. What I can offer you is this little nugget. Life is so much better after high school. College is tough in its own ways. It's different for everyone. But in my opinion, there was less bullying and it was easier to steer clear of mean girls. You'll spend time in your 20s discovering new things about the world and life and yourself, and you won't be surrounded by the same kids you've known forever. What I hear loud and clear, though, is that you're being authentically yourself. You are being authentically yourself. Wear what you like. Dressing like a grandma sounds super cute, cottagecore vibes, and I dig it. And you are starting a weight loss journey and take care of yourself. Those are the two best things you can do. You'll find a little feeling of power and self-love as you go through this journey. You totally got this. Also, it sounds like you're seeking romantic attachment. It will find you when you're ready. Focus on taking care of yourself and loving you and loving life. Sorry this was long. It just really stuck a chord in my heart, and I really wanted you to know that you're not alone. That was sweet. I like that one too. Hi, love. I wanted to weigh in and assure you that it gets so much better. Let's see. I was I was a taller, heavier girl in high school, 6 foot, close to 200 pounds, and was bullied frequently through high school for being bigger than the boys, and partially because my style was different. Boys weren't interested in me, and while I had some great friends and was really involved in sports, I felt super lonely. I often felt like my body was the thing that was wrong, and that if I could just control or change that, I have more luck romantically. Oh yeah, it's getting toxic ritualistic. I'm 29 now, and I'm excited to tell you that it gets so much better after high school, whether or not you lose weight. Mean girls don't hold the power they do in high school. Wearing what you love is a superpower. The Birkenstocks that I got to use relentlessly for are now super stylish. Girl, maybe you're just a trendsetter. Everyone loses weight for different reasons, but I hope you can find motivation in being the healthiest, strongest, most badass version of yourself. Someone who has the energy and strength and endurance to run and play and swim and laugh. And yes, movement is so important. From the other side of the girl who felt unloved and lonely in high school and who was eventually conventionally thinner and attracted the attention of men, the boys don't matter. All my best memories from my late teens and early 20s are of my close friendships. Look around at the friendships and other relationships you have now. I'm sure you are so loved. Keep taking care of yourself and know it gets so much better. You got this. Yeah, I think, I think most of this I could agree with, or like I think it's a good statement for sure. I think that the OP probably wanted more about like weight loss rather than just being like, oh, high school type of thing. But I understand that the OP was a high school girl, so it's like, of course people are gonna have that reaction. Like, I totally get it. Okay. Honestly, maybe I'm obtuse, but people treat me the same now that I'm fat that they did when I was fit. I believe those who say they have better experiences when thin, but I also think there's a lot of nuance and coincidence involved. Yeah, I think it depends on what fat means. Like I said, I think there is definitely overly reductive view of what fatness is versus what it actually is. Like, you have to be big enough for it to impact your appearance in like a significant way to even be mid-size, in my opinion. And then being fat is when it has like actual physical issues that are caused by it. So it's like, I wonder if the person is just more of a thickie, still average, right? Like maybe just average rather than fit, which, yeah, you're not going to be treated the most drastically different at that level because it's not that different, especially if you have a shirt on. Like if you're a guy, if you have your shirt on, it just doesn't, it's not that different. Same, I think there's a lot more to it than just being thin. I think the level of obesity one starts off with is a big factor, yes. I think it's very different for someone that needs to lose, say, 300 to 400 pounds and someone who, like me, needed to lose 50 pounds. I think I agree with that, but I do think 50 pounds is still significant, unless if we're talking like full-on vanity weight, like I was fine, but I just wanted to have abs or be like super low body fat or something. And then the person loses like 40 pounds to get there. You know what I'm saying? That's a little bit different. But if we're talking like you're going from mid-size to average, that's going to be a big difference for sure with that 50 pounds. But obviously, like in my experience, I've really seen basically the whole spectrum of it. And it's really drastic at different sizes. Like a lot of people who start mid-size, they don't ever experience like having more status. Like when you're bigger, you actually have more status. And then as you lose, it actually goes down. And then you're mid and people are really weird to you. And then you're average and then it kind of goes back up. Like a lot of people don't understand that because they've never been that big. But a lot of people that are really big, they feel that. It's like, oh, all of a sudden I'm ignored. Oh, all of a sudden I'm not invited, I called it being duffed. I was in a duff era when I was mid-fat, which is kind of like a 3X for me. I was the duff, I was duffed. Like I was ignored. It's kind of the introverted version. It's like you're just invisible, totally invisible, which obviously as an introvert, sometimes that can be a benefit. And then as an extrovert, you have what's called thin by comparison, which I love. My friend Lisa came up with. And you're invited more often when you're bigger because you're like fatter than more people. So they look better next to you, which is really scarring. So it's really scarring. But then like you start to lose and then you're not invited out as much, which is crazy. So I take that from Lisa. Like you can question her. If any extroverts, you guys can fight about it. But my introverts, you guys know the duff. If you've been big, you've been duffed. It's horrible. It is really bad. It's the lowest your status gets. Put you that way. It's the lowest it gets. So it's not cute. Not a cute experience. Okay. Anyways, let's move on. But confidence is such a big factor, how one carries oneself and approaches other people. I think that that's true. I think especially in an average. Average is very like make or break. Like you make it. You make it what it is. I am not Rizzy, and so I'm just like weird as the average person and awkward. And so I'm not like walking around like a celebrity every day or anything, It's not like that. Because I can't make it. So it's like if average is what you make it and you can't, then it's just like, okay, you're a flop. I'm going to try to do a little bit more with my appearance and stuff. But again, I look busted. I've been through it. This deficit is a lot. So it's hard to be like on period when I feel trashed and I'm like really depleted. So it's like, I'll have to let you guys know for sure. I'm like a busted thin right now. So yeah. Anyways. But again, the weight is not the problem. It's the my hair falling out from the weight loss. It's the anemic glow or lack thereof. It's the dark circles under my eyes. It's all the diet culture vampirism of it all. The probably the weird like look on my face as I'm going through. It's all of that. That's not weight though. That's like you're just busted. Which I think that a lot of people don't understand, that although weight contributes to your appearance, just because you become average, that doesn't mean you look good. It just means you look okay. Average is just okay. It's acceptable. Is acceptable exciting? Or can acceptable be made exciting? It can be made exciting. Is it on its own? No. Mm-mm. So I think people need to manage their expectations. That's my thoughts on it, Okay. If you're walking around looking at the ground, hunched over, insecure, and not meeting people in a confident, friendly way, it's not a big surprise that people don't respond to that. I mean, people won't respond to that even if someone is thin. True. I do walk around pretty confidently. Like I have my head held high and I just like go through and I move fast as I walk and stuff. So I don't know. So I don't know. I'm just introverted. I really am. Like it's not a costume. I don't pretend. Like I don't just say I am. I really am. And as people lose weight and gain confidence, they tend to groom themselves better, like doing their hair differently, dressing better, etc. But I've definitely met people who do this and seem confident while overweight / obese, and they've never had problems with attention from other people. So yeah, it's not just being thin. Yeah, I think some of this you're gonna have. If you're introverted, you're never gonna get there. I mean, I know that sounds negative, but as an introvert, you're never going to be extroverted. Like you're never going to be like an extrovert. So you need to like be realistic, and losing weight is not going to turn you extroverted. It's not. So I think that happens a lot. That's like a big stereotype. Okay, here's my 26-year-old female experience. Being overweight / obese my entire life, I also felt very lonely and very much like an outsider. Okay, especially when all of my peers were going on dates and starting relationships. They were mostly girly girls, and that's never been my style, even though I wasn't fully aware of it at the time. I didn't get much attention, and when I did, I was often treated like a very good friend by my potential romantic partners. Like the boys would talk to me just to get advice about how to approach one of my friends. Ooh, daft. Told you. If you don't know what duff is, DUFF, look up the movie. That's what I'm saying. That's a duff. It felt humiliating. I was definitely the heavier girl in my class, and at the time, I also had a really hard time dressing myself. Yeah. I struggle with that still, but I think I'm getting a little bit better. Like, this sweater is cute. I'm going to wear it to death, but it's cute. I think it's cute. I'm trying. I lost a really good amount of weight at 17. OP, you got this. And I started to feel better about myself, but I wasn't mature enough to deal with such a big change. What happened was, suddenly everyone treated me so nicely, including the girls. Some people in my class said that I looked so much better and emphasized how big I was before. And it was really good for me that I had lost all the weight. It was very bittersweet. I do get some of those comments sometimes. Or I often won't get "you look so much better," but I'll get like "you look so different." But I know what people are saying. Not to be choppily. I know what you mean. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't care. I just don't. I don't care. I just don't. Whatever. Especially now that I'm literally in a vanity weight era. It's like I am literally trying to look better. Like that's literally the goal of a vanity weight era. It's not as much about health anymore. So it's like, you know. So I don't care if people say that or think that or whatever. It doesn't bother me. But people typically will say, like, "you look so different." So But it doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't. Long story short, because to me, I'm like, it's objective fact. Like, I do look really different. So that's just true. Long story short, I became romantically involved with someone for the first time at 17. It didn't go so well. But then I got a legit boyfriend at 18 when I started college. And then everything was very comfortable and I gained all the way back. Ooh. And my legit boyfriend started being distant. He was no longer attracted to me and I could tell. It felt devastating. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's TR for sure. Toxic ritualistic to gain it all back. Ooh. Okay. That's all to say that I wish for a lot of strength in your journey and that you should be the main reason why you change your life. I agree with that. Let the love and attention and other people's behavior be their own thing. I agree with that too. You're worthy of love, kindness, and empathy at any size. If people are not nice to you, then they don't deserve to be a part of your life. I think these are pretty good comments, honestly. And then just for the sake of the storytelling and to agree with other people in this thread, it gets so much better. I met my now husband, 31 male, when I was 240. Soon after we started dating, I dropped to 210, and then I gained it all back during more stressful times, reaching 260 at my highest. Now I'm 205 and going strong. He has loved me and supported me every single day, wishing you the very best throughout your journey. Oh, wow. Yeah, this person has some issues with the TR for sure. Definitely toxic ritualistic problems. That's quite a bit of a fluctuation, in my opinion. Okay. But we'll get into that another day. I lost a lot of weight in college and in law school, and I was shocked at how differently people treated me. Not just men, but other women were kinder. Strangers would talk to me at the grocery store checkout. People looked at me and saw me. I told you, the sidelining thing, I think, is a big thing. Elderly ladies made conversations. Kids smiled as I walked past. That was one thing I noticed. As I do, kids notice me more. So take that for what it is, Like, that's happened a lot. Like when I'm in public or at the grocery store or whatever. I'm more noticed by children, So it's the sidelining thing. Like, you fit in. I don't know. You just do. You're seen. You are seen. So when it's like, they saw me, yeah. I think that's the universal difference, I would say, is that you are more noticed. And it does shift. That's why I've used the term visibility a lot throughout the journey, where there are times where your visibility is higher and then it goes down and then it goes up, But when you're average, it's just way higher than, it's a lot higher than it was at any other phase. But again, what do you do with it? What do you make of it? Right? Okay, so people see you. What are they seeing? Are they seeing busted hair and like a weird face? And, are you walking like a zombie like me? Like, what are they seeing? I'm just saying, it is what it is. And then I gained the weight back and then some. Oh my goodness. And people still treated me better, as if I had still lost the weight. I did a lot of reflecting on this, and this is my story. Others might have a different perspective. I think it wasn't the weight for me. It was the way I saw myself and presented myself to the world. I dressed better and dressing better does help a lot. I think a lot of people do not understand how big of a difference that makes. And took care of myself more than I had in high school. I became approachable, not skinnier. I wore more color. I smiled and strangers smiled back. And when I gained the weight back, I didn't let that take away the progress I made on the inside. Yeah. So I agree. It's definitely an interaction. It's just that sidelining. That's the best way I can describe it. That's what's gone. That's what's gone. Okay, I'm way older than you, but I'd say people treat me better in general. People are quick to compliment me on my appearance without prompting. It's nice, and thankfully I don't mind it at all. On the men's side of things, I get both good things. They're quick to come help if they see me struggle with anything except for lifting things in the gym, but there is an unspoken rule there. And the not so great, the ogling, the random catcalling, which isn't too bad and kind of comical mostly. Okay. I must say, though, that I wasn't a person that was always fat. So to me, people's behaviors right now is kind of like my normal baseline. I can totally see why some people might get freaked out by it or get angry over it. Interesting. Yeah, I think like when it is a baseline, it's easier to adjust to. For me, it's not quite a baseline, but I'm just adjusting to it. I'm just like, this is being human. This is a human, like that's kind of how I think about it. And I'm okay. I'm fine. I get treated very differently. I started at 250, currently about 160, 5'8". Both men and women treat me differently. It's wild to me that your value as a person can go up tenfold just by weighing less. Okay. Wow. Very fascinating too. Attractive people around me get treated so kindly. It's what I really want. Congrats on the weight loss. Yeah, I don't know. I think with me, I feel like, I don't know. I think like even if I do get more attractive, I just feel like people are not going to be that nice. I think there's going to be a point. Like we're at the nice phase now, but I feel like if I go too far, well, not too far, it doesn't really matter. But if I go far enough, I feel like we'll go from nice to like competitive, weird, and some of that is just because, like I said, how I carry myself. I'm very confident in general. Like I walk, like I said, with my head held high, that kind of stuff. I'm confident and I'm busy and I'm just like, I power through and like that's how I move. And I feel like that will probably end up bringing some antagonism in the future. But to be honest, I can handle it. So, because, yeah. But I'm just saying, that's just me. So, I think it depends on the person. It really does. It really, really depends. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I think I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I'm tired now, but thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Love and light. Just kidding. Hatred and darkness. I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go. Goodbye.